morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I'm Paul Clark and welcome to, this wildflower meadow. So what have I got for you lovely lot today? Well, each week I try to do something slightly different. The last couple of weeks we've done some fairly complicated paintings. So today, splashing around with that paint and experimenting, and we're going to have a go at painting this lovely little wild meadow with a windmill. So come and join me and we'll paint this step by step together. Today's materials, my paper is some lovely Saunders Waterford rough. It's £300, so it's super thick and definitely won't need stretching, but any decent watercolour paper will do. Now for my colours, I'm going to be using a lot of traditional watercolours, and I'll list the colours below as I use them. But I'm also going to be using some of these Dr. Martens watercolour inks, and again I'll list the colours as I use them. And don't worry if you don't have any watercolour inks, your normal watercolours will be just fine. And for my brushes I'm using my large Harkey, and for my range 3/4 inch flat, number 12, number 6 round, and my trusty number 3 rigger. And here's the drawing, which is super simple, so there's no drawing template today. You can do this one. But what I will be doing is using some masking fluid and just masking out the windmill and the little cottage here. Right, so after I've let the masking fluid totally dry, I'm completely saturating the whole sheet of paper with some clean water using the large Harkey brush. Next I'm using my large flat brush and literally chucking in loads of colours, and this is definitely one for you to experiment and use all your own colours, but I will list the ones I'm using below, but letting everything mix and blend here on the paper. Nice bright phthalo blue here. Just really go for it, let the paint work for you and see what happens. And of course, not too much fiddling. Too many brush strokes will simply muddy your colours. And I'm going to suggest perhaps a little path coming down here, but it's all going wet in wet. It's all very impressionistic. Right, so now it's time to use these watercolour inks, and as I said earlier, if you haven't got any, it doesn't matter, you can use conventional watercolour. And I'm using it straight from the bottle and applying it directly onto the watercolour paper. And I'll list the colours exactly as they say on the label. Up here, and this is to perhaps suggest some distant trees, but I'm pretty much making this up as I go along. Right, to get these inks flowing a bit, I'm going to give them a good old spray with some clean water. And then tilt the board to about 45 degrees, just watch the colours streak and run down. So I'm going back to conventional watercolour paint, and again list the colours below. You'll know when I'm using my paint because I've got my brush as opposed to the pipette. And here I'm just spreading these inks around, letting them mix with the watercolour. And here I'm just picking up some of the colour to create a soft edge just by lifting up with a damp brush. And here I'm just splatting in some of that ink. Oops, some of it's gone up in the sky. Not a problem, we could just blend it out with a bit of tissue and a little bit of water. Make the sky a little bit more interesting. Splatting in here some phthalo blue. It's all a bit of experimentation really, and a bit of fun. And here I'm just splatting in some dioxidine purple to suggest some flowers here. I don't know, these could be hollyhocks or foxgloves, I know. Don't pretend you know about flowers. A little dab out here with a tissue to perhaps suggest a few cloud shapes. And here again with a damp brush I'm just lifting out some of the colour between the tree line behind and the meadow in front, just to create a slight divide, and dropping in some clean water here. And I'm just building up the values around the cottage and windmill just to help them stand out more. A bit of sap green paint here, and as you can see, I can't tell you the exact breakdown. I pick up a lot of colours from my palette. And I'm just suggesting the rough shape of some fir trees here, just using the point of my number 12 brush. And as you can see, I'm holding my brush right at the end. It just gives me more freedom and movement, getting more natural brush strokes. Bringing out the suggestion of a path here a little more. Next, it's time for some lovely gooey white gouache straight from the tube. And I'm just lightly tapping it into the damp. And look at that lovely feathery effect you get. One big advantage of using 100% cotton paper is it does stay wet that little bit longer. So here I'm just tapping in some French ultramarine blue. Again, this is all a little bit spontaneous and I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but that's half the fun of it. A little bit of pinky colour in here. Next, I'm just taking some clean water and sort of blobbing it along the path here. Hopefully that'll force some back runs. I should get a nice texture. And here I'm just tapping in some clean water blobs to get some nice motley effects. So now we need to let this totally dry. So it's a perfect time for a short break, and it's very hot here, so I've got a crisp cold cider. Next, I'm taking a damp tissue and just softening some of these little blobs here and there, sort of creating that wet in wet effect again. Next, it's time for the trusty number 3 rigger. Thank you. And I'm just painting in these little spindly grasses and wildflowers and general stuff. And you can use any dark colour for these. And with a really quick brush stroke, you can get this dry brush texture on some of the stems. Next, with some clean water, I'm just giving it a very light spray just to get some slight softness to some of these brush strokes. Just putting in a little further detail in these grasses, still using my rigger. And here I've just switched to a sort of pinky colour. Right, now for some white details, and I'm using this Posca ink pen. It's a 0.7 nib, so I can get some nice fine detail. I'm not going for any sort of realism here. This is all intended to be quite quirky and sort of semi-abstract. Next, I'm taking some yellow gouache, nice and gooey and thick, and just dropping in the centre to these daisies, and the odd little yellow flower here and there. And then back to my white gouache and just splatting in a few little dots here and there. Right, so now it's really important that everything is totally dry, perhaps leave it for an hour or so, then take off the masking fluid, and I'm using a rubber eraser here. Then I'm re-wetting the Windmill here with clean water with my number 6 brush, then dropping in some Payne's Grey along that left hand side so I get a nice soft edge on the right. And Payne's Grey again for the shadow side of the cottage. A bit of burnt umber here for the top of the Windmill, but you can paint this in any colour you like. Lifting out a highlight here with a clean damp brush. And let's go for a nice orangey tiled roof. Watery Payne's Grey for these details on the sails. And a darker consistency for these little details. How about a blue door? The bottom edge of the cottage here looks a bit crisp, so let's just put a bush in front. Then back with my Posca pen for these final little details. There we go, all done, and this one in just over 2 hours. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and you'll give it a go. And out of all the tutorials I've ever done, this is one that you can really make your own and really splash around with a colour. And of course, have fun in the process. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, it is free. I'll leave a comment, I do read every single one, of course I can't reply to them all. Have a great week everyone, and see you all again for another Watercolour Wednesday. Take care now, cheers.